Listen, we are back. Did you miss me? I said, honey, did you miss me? Did you miss Miss Robinson? Make sure you like this video as you are coming in. Make sure you like it. Thank you. What is up, y'all? It's your girl, Brand New. And, honey, I am back in the building. Listen, this time, honey, I want to talk about the particular scene from Love and Marriage Huntsville with Kimmi and Nell. And Kimmi threatened to dump Nell's ass in the pool. I was team Nell when it came to this. I'm very sick of Kimmi and Latifah trying to tag team somebody. Latifah is just being Latifah, being the weak, codependent that she is. When she called Nell a victim, I'm like, no, bitch, that's who you are. That is what you are a representation of. That is all you do. You get asked questions, and just like that expo, right? Just like the Black Expo where people were trying to give her some type of constructive criticism and feedback, she couldn't take it. She judges people for their behavior without taking accountability for her behavior. So Miss Nell getting louder, and to me she wasn't that loud. They were like gaslighting her, starting shit with her, and then when she finishes it, well, I don't like your tone and you so loud, and it's just like, both of y'all shut the hell up. Okay, that's why Melody did what she did with those rooms with Kimmi and Latifah, because both of these heifers are shady bitches. And, they want to come at Nell. And Nell is not that girl. She will get with your ass. Kimmi has all that mouth for Nell. And then with Maurice, he's over there asking for sex like every second of the fucking day. Okay, you don't have all that mouth for him. You can't stand up for yourself. You just, in his words, rolling over and taking it. So I can't take Kimmi serious. I think her and Latifah are two of the biggest hypocrites. They're horrible. And I did not like this tag team, on Nell. I didn't. So the guys are kind of making their way towards the women. Marceau is hoping his wife isn't in the middle of it. She's always instigating. But whenever somebody gets on her ass, there's a problem. And right here in this scene, this is why I was like, that's why Kiki threw that damn drink on her. Because she got sick of her Tisha's messy ass ways. Tisha is messy as hell. And you got Kimmi with all this liquid courage. Okay? It's a mess. You got Destiny in the middle. Getting shit going. And y'all know what they do on these shows, though. One person tells one person what the other person said. Now everybody is so upset. It's crazy. So Destiny is trying to hold Nell back. Honey, that Miss Nell is like Hercules. She is a little something, but she looked like she would fuck some shit up. Kimmi, girl, you need to have all that smoke hell, you don't need no smoke because you're already in a burning house. Who else was there? Tisha, you can't say shit because you don't know when to speak up and you don't know if you coming or going, right? You over there in a burning house. Destiny can't stay out of court. It's a mess. But they have to kind of do all of this, because they don't have Melody on the show. They're gonna have to come for each other. We see each other. So it's a mess. But yeah, Kimmi, shut your ass up. You ain't gonna do shit. And Nell tells Kimmi, stop yelling at me. And I noticed, what was it when they were out of town? What was it? St. Thomas, Nell and Kimmi had a problem. Both of these women are controlling. They want to. But I feel like Kimmi is more of the problem, though, especially in this situation, than Nell is. Kimmi and Latifah, they want to disrespect Nell. They feel like they've been on the show since, it first started. So they have a little bit of authority. And they don't like what Nell represents. Nell is more respected than them. And yes, Chris has stepped out. I'm not saying he's a perfect man, but he's a better man, in my opinion, than Maurice and Marceau, who are huge jokes. Because you actually see Chris covering for his wife, taking up for her, doing nice things for her. You don't really see that with the other husbands. So Latifah and Kimmi could be jealous of Miss Nell. They could see her as a threat, okay? Especially since the show has been on for some years and the fans are more or less taking to Miss Nell. I remember when I did my poll of who was the new queen of Huntsville since Melody left, and most of you said Miss Nell. The people have more of a respect for Miss Nell than, Latifah and Kimmi, and they don't like that. So they are, in my opinion, they are actually very jealous of her. You have Latifah gaslighting Miss Nell. You're the only person yelling. Y'all were trying to double team her. Y'all better be lucky it was Miss Nell and not Miss Robinson. Okay, because I probably would have had to slap shit out of somebody. I mean, I'm just saying, get the fuck out of my face and don't be telling me I'm being too loud when, bitch, you started all of this. You were loud with me first. So, yeah, they think that, they think that being on this show represents some sort of hierarchy, and they are, further up on the totem pole than Miss Nell, and they are threatened by her presence. Miss Nell gives queen energy. You may not like her, but she gives, a certain amount of energy, and you recognize that with her big presence. She has a little body, but she has a big presence, and I like what she told Kimmi, bitch, I will beat your motherfucking ass. You ain't gonna do shit to me. Like, Kimmi, I don't know what has gotten into you. You done lost your mind. We need you to come back. Back to life. Back to reality. Okay, shit. I don't know what the issue is with Nell and everybody. And look like you over there starting shit. Once again, that's why I had Shanita check your punk ass. Mel, you got a black ass though. We ran you up off that show. Latifah is always like trying to play innocent. I cannot stand, when I tell you I cannot stand women, and I know a woman in real life that act like that act like they are this victim, and as soon as you check they motherfucking ass, it's, well, you got a black soul, you're a bad person. No, bitch, I'm matching your motherfucking energy. Deal with it, okay? So, yeah, I can't stand her ass. Such a hypocrite, sitting up here gaslighting Nell. Child, it's a mess. And Latifah says Nell is the one, okay? Not her and not Kimmi that needs to learn how to talk to people. Y'all tell me what y'all think about that. Let's see what the people think about this. One person says Tisha has her nerve. She is always the victim. Yeah. Look at that. The first goddamn comment, and the people already see what Latifah is up to. At this point, this show has turned into trash. A whole lot of made-up storylines. Another person says they tried to gaslight and bully Miss Nell, and it failed. Yeah, you think? Yeah, that's what they were doing. Another person says Miss Nell matched that energy. Another person says, what did Kimmi expect when you say to a person, I'll drop you in the pool? Yeah. Another person says this was a whole gaslighting session and they were all yelling, but Kimmi says, Nell, don't yell at me. Kimmi says, I'll throw your ass in the pool. But then Kimmi turns around and asks, why are you talking to me like that? Because they're so hypocritical. And like I said, they think that they are the queens. Her and Latifah. They are the queens of this show, and like I said, I stand by Melody giving them shitty rooms, like letting these bitches know, like, girl, you may have been on this show for some time, but y'all don't deserve the good rooms. Y'all ain't pulling y'all weight. Y'all have tried to live vicariously through me and my ex. Absolutely. Another person says Nell was not yelling. She was just talking loud. The gaslighting on this show is crazy work. And the fans see it and they don't like it, right? They don't like it. Another person says Kimmi is getting beside herself. None of these women are friends and this show is going to the gutter. Another person says before it was Mel, now it's Nell. Yeah, they were gonna come for Nell. They couldn't wait. You saw some of that on the St. Thomas trip. Another person says, Kimmi, you don't want the smoke with Miss Nell. And it looked like most of these people, you guys, are on Nell's side, as they should be. Absolutely. Another person says, Mel was so happy. I'm so happy you left this show. It's a race to the bottom. Kimmi is now Tisha's bodyguard to Miss Nell. It's sad to watch. And this is another reason why Latifah can't grow up, because she always has her mom or Kimmi or somebody fighting her goddamn battles. Martell, wearing a sweatshirt with coleslaw is bottom feeder behavior. Ugh, her ugly ass was on the shirt. Oh, child. The language, Miss Robinson. But I wouldn't have her on my goddamn shirt. Ugh. Child. Another person says Kimmi got smoke for everyone but that criminal husband of hers. Look, that part right there. Another person says Nell's voice has a particular pitch. It did not sound like she was yelling at all until Kimmi threatened her. I don't even watch this show anymore, but I can see Tisha and Kimmi are tripping. Yeah, they are on a power trip, okay? Another person says they got Nell fucked up, and I love it. That's the energy Kimmi has been needing. You see, she started everything low-key with Miss Nell. Yeah, she did. Another person, Kimmi don't want it with Miss Nell. I told y'all, more people are on Miss Nell's side than Kimmi, because Kimmi was wrong. Okay, girl, let's talk about the Bell Collective reunion. Listen, let's talk about who was best dressed. Best dressed is Marie. Number one, she looks stunning, you guys. Hair, makeup, dress, everything. The dress was everything. Two, I'm going to give it to Carrie. I love that color on her. I loved her hair. She looked magnificent. Three, Selena. Selena looked like she had a few coins this season instead of no coins. She hasn't really been giving us, like, fashion. She hasn't been giving us fashion. Who else? Letitia. People were dragging her online, but I felt like Letitia looked really pretty. I liked her hair, her makeup, and I love the dress. It fit better than any other dress she's had. Tambra, she looked good, but she was just there. They need to get rid of Tambra. She's not really bringing anything. Last, I would give it to Latrice. I didn't really like the dress. I liked the color. Makeup was okay. I didn't really like the hair. I felt like she should have did some type of like ponytail or a bob. I wish she would have been more on theme with the other ladies with the blue. But she talking about, she need to give rich lady vibes. And it's like, Latrice, I think a lot of your money and it comes from Clef. That's what I see with you. I don't think you are this big bad boss that you claiming. That's why you sticking to Clef. Even though he is over there disrespecting you, going home to the damn condos. Okay? So, yeah. Oh, that was funny on that last episode. When she came home from the trip, she went to the condos and was, maneuvering around and moving her stuff. I thought it was so funny. But girl, this is what Latrice did, and a lot of you all are falling for it, unfortunately. Latrice is having issues in her marriage. They were exposed on the show. We saw the bruises, I know I did, on her arm. She was embarrassed by being in a burning house. Instead of dealing with those issues, she needed to make somebody look worse than her, so she chose Letitia. And all throughout the reunion, well, your husband, Glendale is the problem. Yeah, he is, but bitch, you're a problem too, because you are nobody's friend. You are an evil get-back queen. Okay, and because Latrice looks the way that she does, I think that people is like, oh, she didn't mean it. Trice is in the middle. That's why I don't really like Selena for the show, and that's why I fuck with Marie. Marie is not afraid to tell people when they are wrong. Tambra and Selena, they are like, I don't know, they are afraid to really rock the boat. We don't need that on this show. especially Tambra. Selena kind of just got here, but I'm not really interested, if I'm being honest, with either one of them, honestly. I like that Selena is using the show to find out who unalived her son. I do like and understand that storyline, but she's not giving it. And Carlos, you fucked up the church's money when you brought her on here. You traded Gucci, Aikisha, and Willie and JJ in for Selena. She's not a good replacement like that. That was bad. But he saw her fan base, and I think he thought more people would watch the show. But if that's the case, why are y'all only getting like 6-7 episodes? So what is going on? You had everything. If y'all noticed, the show was completely different when Aikisha and Gucci was on. They had a lot of episodes. I think we had 3 parts of the reunion. Like, it was a lot going on. Okay? So something tells me, honey, something ain't clean in the buttermilk. Latrice says she likes Marie more now because she has a man. I don't think you should like somebody more just because they have a man, per se. What's the man's name? Cedric. I do notice Marie is softer, and that is what I like about a woman that's in a relationship. You see the softer side. I've even seen it, with myself, where you are a lot softer as a woman. You getting some good D. I don't know if Cedric is giving a good D, honey. Okay? I don't like Cedric for Marie. I don't feel in life you should backpedal. See, when Nene and Greg, when they got remarried, I can get jiggy with that because we knew that Greg was a good man. Not a perfect man, but we knew he was a good man and he was good for Nene. My issue with Marie, I see another Candy and Todd situation happening. And with the way he was talking on the stage, and I'm a man and she need to submit to me, and the ladies, when a man starts talking like that, you better run. You better go get a helmet, bitch. You're gonna need it. Okay? Because a real man never has to say, well, I'm a man and treat me like one. It's normally when they don't act like a man, they begin screaming it out to you that they want all this respect that they have not earned, that they don't deserve. And you can't be out here cheating on your wife, Cedric. Marie said women was calling her, acting like they the wife. That's not cool, but you want to be treated like this big man. It's just not gonna happen. You have an unrealistic expectation, sir. So the fact that he's talking like that, it just lets me know he has not changed, and Maria is going to regret this decision of getting back together with him. Okay? It's all in how they start talking. That's how a lot of my relationships ended. I noticed how they began talking to me, and the disrespect is always there. And it's like, Marie, honey, you better get away from that man. You better call Martin back. Marie probably need to go get her a white man, for real, because these niggas, they are not cutting it. I'm sorry. They are not, especially somebody like Sid. Oh, another thing I want to mention is Carlos King. That motherfucker was clean. Clean. Easter Sunday, casket ready, clean. I love that, that green that he had on, that color. Beautiful. He looked good. I was like, that's the best I've seen Carlos, honey. Okay? Carrie chimed in and said that Marie had 2 Ds. Well, she got rid of the one, and that's the issue with women. And I'm here to tell you guys, we're going to always lose. Okay? Especially, women that don't know how to date multiple men at a time, at least 2 to 3. Always have 3 on your roster. And getting rid of Martin for Cedric so early on without making Cedric prove himself. Because remember, Cedric did you wrong. Yes, he got rid of the nasty ass bed that he was fucking hoes in, but that ain't shit. And so these men, they're looking at you to see if you are really going to hold them accountable and have some standards. And he's just thinking, well, all I gotta do is get rid of this bed and then I'm a good man. No. You know, him getting rid of a bed does not mean he's changed. It doesn't mean he's going to be faithful this time around. But Maria's settling for the crumbs, the bare minimum. And that's what he's going to continue to give her. Okay? So I wouldn't have did that. You got to make men work for something. Make them prove themselves. Make them impress you. She could have did something else. Have his ass buy some property or something. Buy you an expensive ring. Okay? And even if you don't want it, you could pawn it and cash it in. Like, really, this shit would, I could make him get rid of a bed. You got to make men pay. And the girlies that don't get these men to pay, they always suffer the consequences. You gotta treat men like a business. And that's why women get heartbroken, because you're just letting him run amok, do whatever, and there's no cost for it. Okay? Oh my God, Carrie's dress, you guys. Gorgeous. Flawless and gorgeous. Okay? I may have to give her first place, Marie. I'm sorry, baby. I'm sorry. Because if I wanted to look like anybody on that stage, bitch, it would be Carrie. Gorgeous. That color against her skin, her hair, she looks stunning. Stunning. So Carlos asks Leticia, you brought the collective together, so how do you feel about the state of the collective? Leticia says, I don't feel like this has been a safe space for me, and she is absolutely correct. My issue with a lot of the content creators is everybody is, and this is the problem in general with the Black community, and this is why we don't get to the heart of, a lot of our issues and relationships and marriages. Everybody is so focused on the cheating, okay? And don't get me wrong, Glenn is wrong, okay? It's 2 flat tires. Like, he's wrong. We know that Glenn ain't shit. But Latrice is a snake. And the way she sat on that stage and said, yeah, but I didn't come up with the question. Bitch, it was at your house. You have been wanting to get Amanda on this show. I believe Leticia when she said, as soon as Latrice knew that Amanda had been talking to my husband, she was going to use that as a storyline so she could get more camera time. Okay, this is a very juicy storyline that I'm kind of sick of seeing, though. It's not that juicy, but anytime you say, somebody is cheating or possibly sleeping with somebody else's man, you know what I'm saying? It's going to get an emotional, reaction from the audience and the other cast members. So I just feel like Latrice does not care for Leticia. She needs to stop acting like she does and quit with the, well, blame your husband. And see, this is the thing. Latrice has been inconsistent. Because in Leticia's face, she was doing all that crying, but you saw what happened on the last episode. She was sitting around making fun of their marriage with her husband and the rest of the group. So that's how you know her intentions are not pure. Behavior reflects intentions. I don't give a damn who's crying with you. If you keep getting embarrassed by people, and I know because I've had people try to do it, honey, and I will emphasize the word try, honey. They try to embarrass me. And a lot of times, people will try to do that to get the smoke up off of them because they know that their shit is falling apart. Okay? And there was a little part in here where Leticia said she had some dirt on Latrice and, Cliff had got into it with one of the workers. I don't know, we'll revisit it. But Latrice hurried up and wanted to be quiet about that. See, this is a bitch that wants you out in the forefront looking like a clown. Even though she's bozo behind the scenes, she doesn't want to be seen. So she just want to make it look like only Leticia is in a burning house. No, bitch, you are too with Mr. AARP. Okay, because you in that marriage for a check. And I'm sure if y'all divorce tomorrow, you ain't going to be coming out with all these businesses and stuff. You're not going to have the capital like that. She talking about she want to do all these condos. That's Cliff's money. We're not fooled, Latrice. I'm not saying that Latrice isn't talented. I'm not saying that she isn't a hard worker. But she is not the bitch that she want everybody to believe. She's just not. Because when you're with an older man, they've had time to build their wealth. You haven't. And yes, you can make a lot of money and be young. But what I'm saying is, Cliff is the end-all be-all when it comes to those businesses. He knows it and she does too. She's just trying to, act otherwise. Latrice says she doesn't owe Letitia an apology, an explanation. It's her husband that's doing everything. He's embarrassing her. You embarrassed her too. See, the fact that you can't admit that you were wrong, you can't admit your real intentions, and this right here, guys, is why a lot of us can't work out issues with so-called friends or associates, because you can't work something out with somebody that can't admit when they are wrong. You just can't do it. Marie says she's shocked that, Letitia and Latrice are going through this. No, you're not, Marie. This is par for the course when people have the wrong intentions towards you. Letitia says she doesn't like that Latrice has been rejoicing in her pain, and you see Latrice have a huge smile on her face. She's literally, she's nobody's friend. She doesn't care about anybody. That's how you know a woman is not in a happy marriage, because if she was, she would want you to be happy. Misery loves company. But everybody's so focused on Glenn and, well, Glenn was wrong. Well, Glenn, listen, we know Glenn ain't shit. We've been saying it. But your homegirl, your girlfriend, your little sister shouldn't be, and Amanda is wrong. You know the man is married. I'm not about to just sit up here and put everything off on Glenn. Amanda had a part. She wanted to hurt Letitia on behalf of Latrice. She wanted to. You know what? I really love Carrie's voice. She has a beautiful speaking voice. And girl, you were not giving Whitley Gilbert. You were giving Freddie, okay? Whitley used to be clean. The shit that Whitley was wearing on Different World, you could wear now, okay? And be stylish. So the girls, especially Tambra, and this is the most interesting that Tambra has been all season. She goes, in on Carrie for calling Jackson, sophisticratchet. I didn't think it was a big deal. I feel like it is all those things, Tambra. Let's not get on your non-storyline having ass. I'm so sick of looking at Damon. The baby is cute, but I'm bored. With Tambra, it's like, girl, what else do you do? I thought it was cute that he had all their businesses on the board, but it's like, is this the last season? Like, what is going on? Y'all better start showing Bell Collective more love. Okay, Carlos, you better put your foot down. You better take this to a different network, because they are not treating the girls the right way. This show is better than Huntsville. Carlos asks Tambra about Damon. He asks, is he broke? Tambra says she doesn't think he's broke. I don't think you would admit that to us, Tambra. I don't. She says she doesn't think he's broke. He just mismanages funds. Kind of just could be the same thing. I mean, I'm just saying, leasing. Letitia talks about the first season where she tried to leave Glenn, and Glenn had took her off her jobs after she had Josh, and once she tried to leave him, she couldn't even afford a hamburger. Yeah, girl. Yeah, that's why, men use money to control women. They do. Look at Candy and Todd. Todd is upset he can't control Candy, but Candy is very controlling. I just saw some more footage with them. We're going to get off into that, you guys. I don't know if probably on another video we'll get off into that a little bit more, but girl, just let Glenn go, okay? He ain't no good. I love the top part of Letitia's dress, honey. Her hair was pretty, but it was kind of stiff. I wish they would have shook the little ringlet curls out a little bit more. But I love the earrings, the makeup, the lips. She was giving. So, Carlos admits that men use money to control women. They really do. And a lot of them don't even have it or a lot of it and try to control women. I just think that men are controlling, period, not just with money. A lot of them don't know how to be married, don't know how to be in a relationship. They think everything is about controlling you. Like you are a piece of property. You are no longer allowed to be an individual with a life, with an opinion. We can't do that in these relationships. A lot of people don't know how to have a relationship. They just feel like their partner is simply an extension of themselves, and that's not true. Carlos asked Tambra, when in her and Damon, when are they going to get married? Carlos, now you know, she had that baby with him. It looked like she's doing things all out of order. Isn't she a Virgo? Okay. You had a baby with him. You did that, number one. Number two, now you want to talk finances. She's not marrying him because she doesn't trust him. Whenever you have a situation where a woman is not in a hurry to marry her man and she claims to love him and all the things, she doesn't trust him. She doesn't. And Latrice don't trust her husband. That's why she knows her marriage is over once a baby comes, because it's going to slow her down, and that's what Cliff wants. That way Mr. AARP can control every damn thing. Okay? She feels like she can maintain a certain level of control by not having kids with him. She still wants access and benefits, as it pertains to Cliff's money. But yeah, Tambra, I feel like her story has come and gone, and we can move on. Selena, she could go too. They need some new blood on here. They need a Kenya and Portia dynamic duo. They need to step it up, because this is a really good show, and when you have sedentary characters like Selena and especially Tambra, the show is just going to be stale because they're too safe, So Carlos begins talking to Cedric, and he's saying, infidelity is what ruined your marriage. This nigga gets to saying, well, that's not the case for me. See, right there, let's stop right there. When a man cannot admit why his marriage ended, the real reason, and he goes into these analogies and about a pancake and there's the other side. See, you have to admit that you're wrong, and you got to stand in it. And the fact he doesn't want to admit that he's wrong, that's a problem. Number two, he says she needed to submit to him. Ain't nobody submitting to you if you broke, you out here cheating, you out here being disrespectful. You are not owed anything. And that's the problem with a lot of marriages. People want to do the bare minimum, and then they want this big return and make it make sense. Listen, I also don't like that Cedric is saying he has his own. You're supposed to. Bitch, do you want a cookie? What the hell? And even Carrie's husband was looking at him as a man. Wow, that's very questionable. Okay? So, yeah, it's like, Marie, you got rid of Martin for this, a man that has not changed. Okay? And like I told you all, you have to pay attention to how a man thinks, how he speaks, because that's what he really means. And this was a bad idea. I can just tell by how he's talking. All that time went by and he learned nothing. So this is where everything goes downhill with pick-me Carlos, right? He is a gay pick-me. You could be a male pick-me. We don't talk about it enough, right? So Carlos begins this dialogue of, yeah, you men, I just know you all want a submissive wife. There's that word, submissive. Another word that's being thrown out here every day, all day, is being feminine and what femininity really is. And that's why I always call bullshit. Because this thing about being submissive and the people that are asking for it is very disrespectful. They're out here cheating, lying, putting your health at risk. Nobody's submitting to that, and I feel like it's very dangerous to use that word. I don't think I've ever used that word because I've never been submissive because I don't have to. I look at your behavior and I will mirror your behavior. Okay? I'm not bowing down or acquiescing. I told you all, in my 20s, I came to that realization when my boyfriend was acting a fool. Going around to the pastor and his wife and trying to make me look bad. Driving around to my mama's house trying to make me look bad. Talking to my friends trying to make me look bad. Accusing me of different things. And I was like, why am I being faithful and loyal to this? I said, I ain't married to this fool, even if I was. I don't owe you any loyalty. Look at your behavior. You're not loyal to me. And that's it. That's where it starts and stops. Well, you should have just left. People, do you know that men unalive women that try to leave them? And with him being so controlling at the time. And I actually went to the funeral of a young lady I went to school with because she was trying to leave her boyfriend. You can't be telling these men you're leaving them and you may not come out alive. A lot of people didn't look at that. His behavior was very erratic at that time. So, yeah, it wasn't no telling him that it was over. He knew when that goddamn furniture was gone. That's how I speak. Shit, I ain't explaining shit. I remember I had to call that bitch mother. I said, if you don't get your damn son, shit. And look, it worked, honey. Call them men's mothers. Listen, I called a few mothers. You better come get your damn son, because, bitch, we about to be down to the court. He keep fucking with Miss Robinson. Girl, what he doing? Acting a damn fool? And the mother would be like, honey, don't make me get my belt out. But I'm going to tell y'all, these men melted when they got on the phone with their mothers because they were so embarrassed. And mama got that touch, honey. You better leave that damn woman alone. Cliff, of all people, Mr. Abusive, says he wants a challenge every now and again. Say what now? Okay? You are being challenging. You're not even coming home, sir. You're going home to some condos and then trying to make it look like it's work. Okay? So, yeah. And then Latrice is a lot younger than him. He doesn't see her as a wife. He sees her as a daughter. And he'll tell her in a minute, I'm the man. I'm the one with all the money. You don't control no man. I can control you. I can put trackers on you. Remember, he didn't even want the girl hanging with her friends. He wanted to be all up under her all of a sudden. Now Latrice is worried because she's like, well, he doesn't. Girl, he's allowing you to be free. Go and be free. Stop chasing after him. Okay, they tend to come back once you stop chasing them. Have you ever realized that? You stop calling or texting somebody, and then they get the point because they're like, oh, that person isn't that available. Now I value them more. But if you go chasing anybody, you're going to chase them away. People need their own independence and autonomy in these relationships. And that's another issue with Candy and Todd. I just saw some footage. She wanted him to go on tour with her all the time. No, ma'am. Todd is a man. He needs his space. He needs his own interests. He needs to, and it's not just a man-woman thing, but he just needs to have his own thing going. That way he can feel good about himself. There's nothing wrong with that. But Candy wanted to be so fucking controlling. Candy looks at herself as the star. Okay? And This is why they, unfortunately, and I'm really sad for them, you guys, because that was my couple. I really like Candy and Ty. You know, I would drag Candy, but I did like them coming together, you know, just accomplishing so much together, right? But this was bound to happen. You can't control another person just because you are the one with the most money. You can't do that. You can't declare that he's with you all the time. You got to let a man have space. I just saw a video, shout out to lovely T.I., where, and I think this is when they were on Housewives, she was getting upset because he didn't want to go out on the escape tour. He said, well, I would only be there to support you. I wouldn't be getting any work done. You know, and it's just like, girl, you only want Todd to either be with those kids or be up under you while you're working. It's unrealistic. It doesn't matter how much money he has. It doesn't. He still is going to want his space and autonomy as a man, as a human being. I'm not going to keep making it be about him being a man, but y'all know what I'm saying. Even me, I don't care how much money somebody has. I need my space. I need my freedom. I don't need you up under me all the time. But, you know, a lot of people that are in show business are narcissistic. They think the sun rises and sets on their ass, and they only see you as an extension of themselves. They don't see you as somebody with your own hopes, wants, dreams, and, you know, they don't see that. They just want you there with them. That way they're getting stuff accomplished, and they feel like you being there, you know, you're supporting them, and, you know, and it is the sprinkles on top. It's everything because you're there, you know, simply just supporting them. That's a one-sided marriage and relationship. Another thing that Candy and Todd did wrong is these threesomes. You can't allow people in your marital bed. Marriage does not work like that. You can't do that because guess what? Once you have a threesome, the man will cheat because he feels like you already gave him permission. So, yeah, it just sad case, honey. Shout out to Aunt Leola. Now, I'm going to tell you who is a healthy man, Mr. Fine Ass. And, ooh, baby, I love that tie he got on. That gold tie, he look good. Carrie, honey, you better look, hold on to your husband. Okay? Look, be like In Vogue. Hold on to your love. Look, hold on, baby, because he fine. I love a healthy man. You can tell it by how he speaks. It's similar to Dr. Damon on Married to Medicine. You could just tell by how he speaks. He's fair in his tone. This man, Carrie's husband, says he doesn't even like the word submission. Okay, and I think I heard Dr. Damon, who has my birthday, by the way, he said that me and my wife submit to each other. Now, if submission is used in that way, then I feel like it's fine, because the man is being fair. But all this, I'm the king, and I need you like a little puppy to bow down, acquiesce, do what I need you to do. See, a man will control you through his own insecurities, and you will just always come up short. Your self-esteem will be chipped down and broken in lowest terms. That is the goal. But yet this right here is a healthy man. Carrie's husband says we try to find a balance and we try to cover each other. Yeah, because that's what it's about. But when you're dealing with these cavemen that want to feel like the big king, and this is why a lot of men have convinced themselves that they can cheat. You better not. You better not have a life outside of them. Okay? And they will always accuse you of cheating. But they can cheat and do whatever, and then they will tell you, well, I'm just being a man. I've actually heard men say this, so I'm not just making shit up as we go along. I'm a man and I just couldn't help myself. You can't even, like, trust these niggas to be around an ugly bitch. They'll fuck her, fuck the dog, fuck the cat, anybody. I don't like men like that. Like, have a sense of decorum, have a sense of respect for yourself. If anybody can have you, how are you valuable? Do you see what I'm saying? Like somebody with some morals, ethics, dignity. grace, honor, reverence, like for your marriage, your relationship. So yeah, Carrie's husband is about the only healthy man on that show. Just like Aikisha's husband and JJ, they were healthy men on the show. Then people start bringing up everything that happened with Selena. And I'm not saying JJ didn't probably do Selena wrong, but everybody has a past. It looks like, he's getting along with Gucci, treating her good. I wish people would just focus on that. Well, he did all these bad things, and she was over there having an affair with Cliff. Monkey see, monkey do. Okay? So, I don't like that about Carlos. I feel like he loves having these toxic men on these shows. We see it on Huntsville. All of them are toxic. And if you notice, the healthy men, like Courtney, Stormy's husband, he actually left the show. We had Willie left the show. See, whenever people are positive, and shout out to Willie and Aikisha, they was just down to the Angela Yee. I think I posted that to the community tab. Willie said that this show was not a representation of how he wanted to conduct himself on TV. He wanted to show he was faithful to his wife. He came home when he said he would. He helped with the kids. He wanted to show something positive, but I don't think that that's what Carlos King wants. It's like he wants all these cavemen, and I think it comes from how he grew up. Maybe his father was like that with his mother. He came from a big family. But yeah, you just really got to look at that, because if somebody is healthy, they're not going to be able to sustain being around toxic, unhealthy relationships and marriages. So if this show goes on, I'm wondering if Carrie and her husband will get sick of it, because they're not here for the toxicity. You could tell that they are on, some different type of time than the other people on this show. I love that Carrie's husband said that as long as we respect each other, we are loyal to each other. When you hear a man speak in equality, instead of I'm up here and bitch you're down here and you need to bow down and do all the things, even though I am not even deserving of that due to my character and my bad behavior, that's a good man. Look at how Carrie is even looking at him, and the other men feel like they have heard some shit from outer space because they can't get down like that. But Carrie, that is a good man, and you love on that man. I hope you gave that man some cootie cat that night, honey. I would have, with his fine self, speaking the right way. I love that when a man is handsome and he's a good man with good, morals, values, ethics, decorum. Like it's everything. It's all the things, right? Carlos, he was trying to push Marie and Cedric into marriage, and I love that Marie told him, I don't need a contract to prove that I love somebody. It would be a mistake anyway. Cedric would clean her out. Marie is the money over there, and Cedric knows it. We can look at how Cedric lives. Doesn't look like he has much money, and he's talking all that shit, I'm the king, and no, don't marry that. You could sleep with it. You can cuddle with it. I wouldn't. But you could do all the things with it. Don't marry it. Certain stuff is just bad for business. And Selena and her man, they're not going to make it. That's why she need to go. They're not going to make it. He dressed like he going to a damn funeral. He don't even want to come home at night. How the hell are you on your way to getting married, sir? And you out at the club and you with your boys and then you got communication issues. It's a no for me. I would not walk down the aisle. But something about Selena tells me she ignores her intuition. And she cares about how this looks. And she wants to make it down that aisle with Mike. And it's a big mistake. He's showing you all the red flags of somebody that is a grown-ass boy that's not going to change. Because when you get to a particular age, why do you need to be outside all the time? You have a wife, she has children, grandchildren, like that should be your damn focus. I'm not saying you can't hang out with your boys, but I think it's unacceptable to, be engaged to somebody and then you're coming home 2, 3 in the morning, because hanging out with your single friends will lead to you fucking other bitches. So don't even put yourself in that situation. I feel like you need to act like you you are getting married, sir. So yeah, they're not going to make it. But she's going to probably marry him to keep up appearances. Selena talks about how the group was there for her when going to her son's house where he was unalive. She thanks everybody for their support. I really like that scene because it did show that, you know, they all can have their differences and come together. Come together when it matters the most, right? Latrice talks about if losing a brother could hurt as bad as it could, you know, I couldn't take losing a child. You know, she was sympathizing with Selena. Pastor Cedric jumps in there. And really quick, Latrice, shut up. You are not having any children because of who you are married to. I don't think it has anything to do with those brothers. I don't. You don't trust your husband, but instead of you focusing on that and actually doing something about it, you'll blame you not having children on something else because you told us the real reason. And, you know, I think it was a different season of the show. You told us the real reason why you wouldn't have any children with Cliff, that he would just leave you with the children and, you know, your life would be all about them and you couldn't, you know, be, you know, carefree and, you know, out in these streets and running these businesses. You would, you know, lose your independence, and you do kind of lose your independence when you have a child, but you all have the means. You can hire a nanny. Hire somebody in the family, your mother, you know, you can see if older people a lot of times are very good with children and they're very patient. They have patience that you probably don't have because they've raised children. So I wouldn't have any children with Cliff because he is, you know, she should just get a divorce, but we know she's not going to do that. She's going to keep up appearances, right? Another Selena. Cedric should just shut the fuck up because nobody asked you. You don't even have a healthy mindset. He gets to extend his support to Latrice, and you gotta let that go. And some of what he said is true. You know, you have to let your fears go. You gotta just be courageous and do new things. So some of what he was saying was true, but I'm still not over that shiggity you was talking about when it comes to Marie, and she got to submit. So it was like, child, shut up, Cedric. So we find out that Amanda auditioned to be a Belle, right? Latrice said she submitted to other females. Letitia says, we all know if you talk about me like a dog, you know, you're going to get screen time. I believe all of that. But Amanda and Latrice, they want to, yeah, but Glenn, and he shouldn't be in any DMs. That goes without saying. We know that Glenn is wrong. Okay? We know that. But Latrice, she throws rocks and she hides her hands. And I don't see how anybody is a fan of her. Like, you could be a fan of her work. Her restaurant is beautiful. Taste. I love that name. And I love that she does the hair and stuff, putting the hair in the vending machines. You know, she has a brilliant mind, you know, in terms of business. You know, 2 and 3 things can be true at the same time. You could be good at business, but she is no one's friend. Remember how she snaked Gucci. And then as soon as Gucci cussed her ass out and she couldn't deal with it, she had to go and get Selena, somebody that was Gucci's enemy. She knew they had issues. She was the reason why they fought, because she was filming with Selena, talking shit about Gucci, getting her gassed up. She was behind all of that. It's like, have you all forgot? So yeah, this girl is not a good person. Glenn says he's made mistakes, but he's working to be a better person. No, you're not, because if you keep finding yourself in the same situation over and over again, you're not. You shouldn't be reaching out to Amanda. Amanda should not be talking to you if you are a married man and she respects marriages. So it's a two-way street. Carlos asks Glenn, do you feel set up by Cliff and Latrice? And he does. You know? Cliff says he had nothing to do with it. Latrice was in the middle of that. ask the questions. You've been filming with Amanda. You had information that Amanda had been talking with Glenn. Glenn was inappropriate with her. You want to bring it to Letitia in front of the whole group at your house. You wanted to embarrass her. You wanted to get back at her. Okay? Due to something that happened on another season. Just be honest. And it's like you play all these games. I can't take you serious. Latrice tells Glenn, we have no reason to try to attack your marriage. At that last episode, you were laughing with the other couples about their marriage. You was. A tiger don't change their stripes. You were making fun of this lady's husband constantly cheating on her. You're taking pride in her pain. You're taking pleasure over seeing her in pain. That's a better way to say it. So it's just like, just admit what you are doing. But no, she hides her hand. She's a snake. She's not to be trusted. But like Letitia said, she had got a call about some shiggity that was going down at Taste. The police came to Taste. So right there, I want you all to pay attention. I hope you all caught it, right? The police was at Taste. Cliff and Latrice were fighting. Okay? Then Latrice says, well, you're trying to expose something you know nothing about. See, she doesn't want to put her marriage out there. She wants everything to be on Letitia. That way she could tell her in a smug way, yeah, well, worry about your husband. Or somebody husband strays. You know, and girl, it looked like yours do too, because he's not coming home to you. He wants to go to a condo. And you don't like that. But I say you take it as freedom, because it's either that or he's following your ass around and you didn't like that. You know what I'm saying? So Latrice and Cliff, they have a very toxic marriage, and Latrice does not want that to be the focal point on this show. She can't take it. She can dish certain shit out, but she can't take it. Glenn says nothing happened with Amanda. He never told her to come to where he was. He never called her beautiful. Latrice says, you're a married man. You shouldn't have been in a DM, period. Your husband is married, bitch, and he should be coming home, not going to some damn condos. Why don't you have the same rules and standards in your marriage? Okay? She's deflecting. And some of the audience members are falling for it. It's like, Glenn is so... We know that Glenn is horrible. I told you all he ain't shit. Latrice ain't shit either, and neither is Cliff. They are no better than Letitia and Glenn. Latrice accuses Glenn of deleting some of the DMs. You're too in their business. Another issue, Latrice, and you're so ignorant, I don't think you know how bad you look. Your friend is equally as wrong. Why is she talking or responding to a married man? Why didn't you all talk about that? But see, Latrice was so focused on making Glenn look bad, and, you know, Glenn does do a good job of that, right? That was her focal point. She has a one-track mind. Because she's not realizing by exposing Glenn, you're exposing your friend. She looks bad. She looks desperate. Talking to somebody's husband. And she knows Letitia and then been in her face. That's wrong too. You got Cliff over here playing with his buttons because he knows his wife is full of shit. So we see Tambra, and this is the most interesting that Tambra has been, you know. I would get rid of her ass quick, but she irritated me because this is what I'm talking about. You didn't want them women bringing to you information about that man and what he did to you, right? But you're taking pleasure. And see, this is the thing. That says something about your character. Why are you all insistent on trying to embarrass Letitia? Well, let's get back, and Letitia isn't... How are you all going to move forward if you all keep trying to hurt each other over what happened in the past? Tambra, you got to let that go. Same way you let all that shit go with Damon, you need to let this shit go. And you're using this to try to be relevant because you know you are the least interesting Bill. But yeah, wasn't she in a car with him? Why doesn't Amanda look as bad as Glenn? Why are we so focused on Glenn? When it looked like Amanda was trying to set up a certain narrative, that way she can be on the show. Because they saw what Carlos did with Gucci and Selena. He actually brought Selena on the next year, restraining order and all. And so it was a desperate ass attempt to get Amanda on the show. Desperate. Amanda texts Glenn, we was inside knocked out, and no response. So that's what they're saying. He, erased messages. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't. They both were wrong. Amanda is just as wrong as Glenn, and that's where I stand on that. And see, Latrice tries to put Glenn out there again. Well, you need to stand in what you do. No, bitch, that's what you need to do. Okay? Because you had a plot. You're coming with some ammunition. You wanted to get back at this woman. You wanted to use her husband to do that. All the while fronting for the audience that you want this relationship to work. Your behavior, your intentions, they're not aligned. You're not really trying to do that. You're trying to be hurtful, and you're trying to do it in a roundabout way. And your friend looks like a slut sitting up here flirting with a married man. Tambra, you look bad because you'll be the first to cry once the girls get up in your business. Wasn't Damon messing with somebody, Letitia's stylist or somebody that was working with Letitia, but you ran out of the room like a fucking coward. But you have everything to say about this situation. So if they come for your ass next season, and I was here for Letitia when she said, yeah, all is fair in love and bells, honey. All is fair because I'm going to really be on my... Letitia wasn't on her get back. That wasn't her intention. That's why she didn't get Latrice. She go get her in these next coming seasons if they have some. I don't blame her. I don't feel sorry for none of these people. So Cliff says he and Glenn is friends, and Treese says, he's not your friend, just like Letitia is not my friend. No, bitch, you're nobody's friend. How about that? She never takes any accountability for what she does. Glenn asks Latrice a good question. Why would you write questions like that? And there are couples there, and the answer is she was looking to hurt Letitia. This was a plot. This was a scheme that Todd set up to come to us with the bullshit. Okay, she's not going to admit to that. It'll just be, focus on your husband. But your husband is so disrespectful, and I need to make you look bad. That way I can get the heat up off of me and Cliff. That's what all that is. It's very childish. It's very dismissive. It's very passive aggressive. And I'm not here for it. Carlos tries to help Latrice, give her a little lifeguard. He should have let her drown. She's still drowning to me. Carlos said Latrice had nothing to do with the questions. It doesn't matter. She already filmed with Amanda. She already tried to submit Amanda to be a bail. She was afraid that they wasn't going to accept her. They wasn't going to make her a bail. What's the next best thing? I can get more camera time if I flirt with Letitia's husband. I'm telling you guys, it sounded like a plot. Because if you know a man is a cheater, why you texting with him? Then you sitting up here, he attracted to me and I look better than a girl. You don't look that far from Letitia. Letitia is beautiful. Y'all better quit sitting on the big girls, honey. A big girl take your man. And they say big girls, honey, got the best pussy, honey. Okay. But I already know what this is. And I used to have parties, you guys, and we would ask certain stuff. And I could come out and tell you, okay, we was being a little messy. Or we was trying to get some answers to some shit that, we wanted to know. I can admit that. This bitch, this little girl, she's not admitting that. Glenn denies being attracted to Amanda. Amanda isn't ugly, so. But it would be inappropriate if he was to admit to the attraction. Letitia says that Amanda body shamed her, and Latrice got up and danced and laughed. Yeah, because a snake is always showing you through their behavior what their real intentions are. She's nobody's friend. She's an evil bitch. Okay? Honey, I live when Letitia said, I know I got a big back, but I can't carry you motherfuckers. I know that's right, bitch. Come on, bitch. Come on, big back. Ain't nothing wrong with having a big back. Honey, if I don't leave them goddamn patty pies alone, I'm going to have one. I'm going to stay having one, okay? Yep, all is fair, honey, when it comes to Bell Collective. So Letitia is going to be with the shits. Y'all better get y'all motherfucking helmet, especially you, Latrice. Okay, so Selena invites everybody to her wedding that may or may not happen. And I'm just here to tell you, when you have to give that type of disclaimer, that's a red flag. You shouldn't be getting married, but she wants to keep up with appearances instead of being real, with herself. Like I said, I don't feel like she fit the show that well, because Gucci and JJ, they were solid as a rock, honey, like Ashford and Simpson. They were more solid than Mike and Selena. They were more of a team. And I think that Selena was jealous of that, because you're over here pulling this man, trying to get him to acquiesce and be the way you want him to be. He should naturally want to just come home, and you keep trying to force something. So yeah, she was jealous of their relationship. I can just tell by how hers is, right? And it's so weird how her and Mike just look so different. When JJ was on the show, he just seemed so like a good man, Savannah, but he's not, right? Tambra, she has a product to help reduce stretch marks. I hope they help to reduce her appearance on this show. I want her gone. Her and Selena, they can go. We need two more they could keep Carrie. Marie says that she is, still doing all things mental health. Shout out to Marie, because y'all know that's my business. I love mental health. She wants to retire, and, she's still there with that. She wants Essie to take over. Carrie is still running her businesses. We didn't really hear Letitia talk about her businesses, just that she's in therapy. You really wouldn't need therapy if you would just get rid of Glenn. Glenn cannot go with you on this journey, this new journey that you are on. He's going to keep you stagnant. He's going to keep you in a burning house. Letitia is a beautiful woman, well-spoken, that doesn't know her worth, but yet she's trying to teach other women their worth, and it's not going to work. Those two things, they just don't coincide. You have to get rid of this man first, and then, getting rid of him, you can get somebody better, and let go of this storyline of, we were in high school, and that don't mean that you should stay with somebody forever. They are showing you that they are intimidated by your newfound success, because remember, Glenn was the one paying all the bills, and he was comfortable with Letitia when she was smaller, as a person, when she didn't have a career. Remember, she didn't have enough money for a hamburger when she left him, so she needed him. That's why she got back in a relationship. Now is the time to leave, because you don't need him anymore. And it's like, when the hell is it gonna click in? And she doesn't need to leave just because Latrice wants to embarrass her. That's what Latrice wants, when Latrice should leave. She's doing a lot of projecting too. She need to leave Cliff, but he's her safe space because of the money. I don't think she's in love with him, or he's in love with her. So Carrie takes her shoes off, and, she didn't have no shoes on under her dress. And she was like, yep, I'm sophisticated. I thought that was a cute moment. Carrie's very down to earth. She does fit with the group. And like I said, I loved her dress. So, they all, take their drink, and, that was pretty much it. This is just like one part of this is the whole reunion. I don't think it's a part 2 or 3. They kind of, because there wasn't much going on this season. We didn't get a lot of episodes. Carlos really needs to put this on another network. I do not think that OWN recognizes the potential of this show. This is a really good show. So, and like I said, I think that Tambra and Selena should go. We should get 2 more bells that stand for something. Period. You have to switch things up.